Okay, we're live. It's May. Wow, hard to believe. The weather's getting warm, so I didn't wear jackets this morning. First day. Um, so I'm going to speak about liquid biopsy, but just to let you know, we had one of our speakers yesterday. You'll be able to read the article we write about him, Giovannis, who's been a real entrepreneur. He's worked in healthcare, in government, in business. He's running a racing team, like you know, uh, NASCAR, big time racing. He's in fact on the way to one of those races now. And he gave a lot of interesting information about how he thinks, how he plans strategies, and rediscovering himself and how we do things. So it was very, very impressive. So I did go to dinner last night. We took him to dinner and forget a few other people. And in the middle of dinner, some kid walks over to me at some very nice restaurant in Charleston in Baltimore, probably a kid about 9 or 10 years old, with a piece of paper. And he says, are you Trey Anastasia? And now, most of you don't know who the band Fish is, like Fishman Fish, but no, P-F-I-S-H, Fish. And Trey Anastasia is the lead singer. If you look online at his concerts, if you look at me scruffily from the side, it actually looks almost the same. And I've been many times people have stopped me for autographs for that. I usually think they want to autograph because I have CTisus, but no, it's the wrong guy. And what's just funny about it is that I say that's me, and I started saying that last night, but I didn't want to have to sign my name. Kid probably thought I was a turkey, but anyway. So I'm speaking about liquid biopsies. I spoke at the AACR, the cancer meeting this past Sunday, on liquid biopsies on a panel. I think liquid biopsy is going to be very big, both for you as a person, but also for radiology. If I ask you what's a liquid biopsy, it's a test that enables the diagnosis or analysis of tumors, usually using only a blood or fluid sample rather than a solid tissue biopsy. Okay, and so what's happening is liquid biopsy is really a way of detecting cancer. Another definition, it's a blood test that detects signs of cancerous tumors, including tumor cells and cancer DNA. Current FDA-approved tests can detect some types of advanced cancer, predict prognosis, and help healthcare providers make treatment decisions. Research is ongoing to explore additional uses of liquid biopsy. Now, what that means basically is that when you go to the doctor, if you go for your physical once a year, they draw blood and they look at your cholesterol and lipids and everything else, and they treat you accordingly. With liquid biopsy, what the goal is to pick up tumors when they're small, because instead of picking up a tumor this big, like in my finger, which is 5 billion cells, you want to pick up things, thousands of cells. And we know that even with bad cancers, if you pick things up earlier, the chance of survival is so much better, low grade. And now you're looking for these DNA particles, you're looking for methylation methods. I won't go through how they do it, but you would draw a tube of blood and you would then be able to determine whether there was cancer present. There are a number of companies that are looking at individual cancers. Remember, for screening, there's only 3 cancers. There's breast mammograms, colon, which is colonoscopy, prostate, so you can do it more. But the rest don't have anything. Yes, we can do early lung cancer screening and things like that, but what else can we do? So I think this liquid biopsy thing is going to be major. 2 big companies, Exact Sciences, where a lot of the work came from Hopkins originally, and Grail, which was part of Illumina. Both of them are doing large-scale studies now, and you can get a Grail study. It's not paid for by insurance, but a lot of people are getting it. Just some numbers. Typically, if you have 100 people and you're doing a screening, 97 will be negative, 3 will be positive. 2/3 or so, a little bit more of the positives will actually have cancer. There'll be 1/3 or a little bit less than 1/3 of false positive. Now, there's something called MCED, MCED, multiple cancer. So the goal is not to have 50 drops of blood to look for 50 different cancers. You want one test that picks up 50 to 70 cancers. And that's what these MCEDs are, the stuff from Exact Science and from Grail. Now, the challenge is once you find a positive exam, eventually I believe that with a lot of experience, you'll be able to say it's positive, it's stomach, positive, it's breast, positive, it's kidney. Now it's positive, then you have to do imaging. So typically we'll do a CT scan. That's kind of the status. And if the CT scan is positive, we'll treat accordingly. If the CT scan is negative, we'll do a PET scan. If the PET scan is negative, then you'll assume the patient has a false positive study, maybe repeat the study in a year. But it's going to change everything. So first of all, we'll be involved in looking for tumors. And if you're going to have a positive MCED, perhaps the tumors are small, which is going to make a challenge to pick up the tumors, which also reinforces this whole idea about AI for early detection, because it would be a shame if you had a liquid biopsy that was positive and you can't find a tumor and it's really there and you can't treat till it gets bigger. Maybe it's too late. You also don't want to drive the patients crazy, because if it's false positive, then patients might get stressed out. So there is some issues how we're going to deal with all of these things, particularly the false positives. But the true positives, you've got to be able to find the tumor early. And again, CT, MR, people have talked about, MR, whole body MR, not quite there. CT is the gold standard, CT from thoracic inlet down through pelvis. And again, if the CT is negative, you'll get a PET scan. We did one of the trials with MCEDs, and we did a PET CT, but the CT was with contrast. But that's hard to do. Most places that do PET do not give contrast, in part because they don't have physician coverage. And so we don't want to make things more difficult. So CT and then PET CT if necessary. But I think you should look at this area. I'm giving 2 lectures on CTisus on the website. I'm going to record them today or tomorrow, probably tonight. And they'll be put up in June, so you can listen to them. In the May Journal Club, which was May Pearls, which just came out, and the Journal Club, which I'm finishing up right now, there are a lot of articles on liquid biopsy that I think are really good, that are worthwhile reading. They're not the high, science articles, but they are in scientific journals that are good. But from a radiologist's perspective, it will explain a lot. So I think liquid biopsies are coming. They're coming quickly. And again, things you look for, you hear about CTCA, circulating tumor cells. You hear about circulating tumor DNA, ctDNA. Those are the common things you're going to look for. And again, remember, it's blood tests. In the future, I believe liquid biopsy will be used to follow patients, right? Or you may not need to do a real biopsy. Typically, if you're following a patient, you do a liquid biopsy. If your lab values stay the same, then you have no recurrent tumor. So I think liquid biopsies on the diagnostic side and the follow-up side are going to be really, really big. So I think it's important to read about it, learn about it, understand about it, and listen to my talk at the end of next month, and you'll figure out what we're really thinking. So a lot's going on. The American College of the AACR, which was in McCormick Place, really impressive meeting, lots of incredible science. I think for all of us, lots of good discovery is going on all sorts of different tumors. So I think things are getting better and better for all of our patients. And with that, I'll say thank you and have a great day.